The document was handed over to President David Granger at the State House earlier today in the presence of top-ranking police and military officers. While the report focuses primarily on reforms within the Guyana Police Force, Combe explained that there are measures also included to address issues plaguing the prisons and fire services, as well as the Guyana Defence Force's Coast Guard.
But as I also wanted to stress that it's a dynamic document, one that will be built upon throughout my period of return, and also a reference document for the various security sector players and actors who need to action the points that the President's raised.
Recalling all of the previous attempts at security reform, President David Granger posited that the root cause of escalated crimes in Guyana was narcotics trafficking, and the previous governments failed to tackle the problem at the root level.
That with the rise of narcotics trafficking, there's a surge in violence, there's a surge in execution killings, there's a surge in the corruption of the security forces. And the failure to deal with the narco-trafficking threat 20 years ago meant that the administration at the time was attempting to deal with the symptoms rather than the disease. So many of the attempts at security reform were insincere.
According to the head of state, with this report, his administration will now try to correct over 2 decades of errors. Meanwhile, the UK-based security expert posited that the presentation of the report is not just the beginning of efforts to reform the local security sector.
The report is dynamic. It's not to represent just the beginning. Activities supported by the United Kingdom have already commenced. For example, the training of the Strategic Planning Unit last year, and then in November there was a consultancy on the maritime capabilities of the police force, and indeed it engaged with the Coast Guard as well. So this is not the beginning, nor is it the end.
Colonel Combe is expected to return in April this year to oversee the implementation of his recommendations. This new tenure will see him in Guyana until March 2019. Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manikchand.